Let's start with David.
Hey, good morning, Sean. Good morning, Mr. Peters. How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Hey, I was just looking at the coalition agreements yesterday very briefly. I'm sort of busy and I don't have much time, but I saw some mention in there about review of the sort of recent changes to the firearms legislation. And without preempting, the result of that review, what is New Zealand First's, I guess, hoped for outcome of that review? What are you hoping to achieve by that?
Well, this is an ACT Party request in the coalition agreement for a start, but our position would be that we need a policy that works. I mean, how did this guy come in from overseas and get a license in the first place? The system failed and we have to address that. But having said that, you have a lot of people with a legitimate reason to have firearms, from a farmer with an animal that's dying in front of him that needs to be put out of its misery. There's a whole lot of reasons for that. And we want a system that works and is safe. And we've striven for almost 4 years to get it right, and it's not right, and that's why we've got the difficulty that's there. So we're happy to work and try and find a solution that has buy-in from people from all sectors, because we need a solution. And that second thing is, of course, there are far too many illegal guns out there. We've got to make sure we get them off people. We have no right to have them.
Okay. Next, thanks, David, for the question. Next question is from my mate Rich in Oamaru. G'day, Rich.
Good morning, Sean. Congratulations, Winston, on your coalition agreement with National Act. I think my main question, Winston, is what is your plan, or the government's plan, to kind of with our mainstream media? Because I just feel that they're very unbalanced, especially after the last 6 years. I mean, we pay for these outfits. I want to watch the news at night knowing there's a balance. I don't want to see every day that it's just a constant attack at you. What's your plan there? What's the government looking at when it comes to our mainstream media, so that there is going to be more trust going forward rather than this rubbish they keep feeding us?
Well, here's the point. Independent fourth estate or independent media is critical for any democracy, and we need one, and that's the critical issue that we're trying to address. But independence means neutrality. It means telling both sides of the story. And they've been caught telling just one side of the story, and if they don't like it, then their argument is to start, as some have at the moment, writing articles without even giving you a phone call, or worse still. In our case, we were packing the halls in this country and they wouldn't even come to our meetings, wouldn't even cover them. So we had to use the social media to get there. And they don't realise, I think, and I'm not an expert on the media, but I've watched it over a long period of time, they don't realise that there are dramatic changes that they must respond to now if they're going to get any creds going forward. Not stand here and sort of defend themselves as an essential agency, not doing their work properly. Look, I watch other countries, I look at their media, and we've got something wrong here. It's sort of like, got you, let's snaggle somebody, let's put one side of the story, and it won't last. And it's in their interest to step up and put aside their bias. When you've got questions that are framed like, so-and-so and so, you believe that, don't you? That's not a question, it's a statement.
That's absolutely right. It is the way they work. Gail, you've got a question for Winston.
Hello, Mr. Peters. Look, I don't have a question, but I just want to congratulate you on getting back into Parliament. Thank you so much for 45 years of just being a common sense, absolutely amazing statesman for New Zealand. And I really do wish you well in the next, hopefully, 9 years of being in Parliament, and that you can pull off what is in the agreement. And thank you so much. Thank you.
That's
the best question I've heard. That's the best question I've heard for the last 2 weeks.
There you go. You've got a job at News Hub. Next up, we'll go to Row Edge, our friend from Save Women's Sport Australia. Australasia,
hi,
sorry.
Winston.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Winston. I'm wrapped in what you've managed to achieve in the coalition agreement, especially your support of protecting fairness for females in sport. It's bloody brilliant. Just wondering how you plan to ensure sports actually follow through with this. As yesterday, New Zealand Cricket responded to a letter I'd sent them saying they were still thinking of following Sport New Zealand's transgender inclusion guidelines rather than the new ICC policy. How soon can we get Grant Robertson's guidelines removed?
Well, the point is this. Everybody understands in sport that it's got to be fair. We're not anti anyone in that context. What we're saying is, surely you do not expect to have an event happening on the field or somewhere where someone's biologically advantaged against the other one, or the other person. It's just not right. And, there's got to be other sort of policies we need to have. But one of them, any policy leads to unfairness, is going to destroy the credibility of that sport. And, we're having a debate here where just 5 or 6 days ago, there was a statement about what the sports bodies would do. And it sounds very positive. It's almost like they'd read the coalition agreement before we put it out. But then you got the kickback at the moment. And from certain journalists as well, trying to show that this is sort of weird stuff or unfair or biased or prejudicial. No, it's not. We're saying that if you're a female on a sporting arena, in a sporting arena, you've got the right to have fairness and not unfair competition. Surely that is something that you would have thought in our education system and in the very sort of, principles of being a citizen of this country, whether it was family, community or country, people understood. So we've got a lot of work to do in not trying to put one side of the argument, but to ensure that the fairness at the end and fair competition is the outcome. Yeah. That, after all, is what we all say we want to have.
Winston, it strikes me, and I'll tell you what really surprised me about this coalition agreement with things that ACT agreed with, National with, and National agreed with, New Zealand First with. There were a whole lot of, if you like, culture war issues and this issue of transgenderism in sport that I had the impression during the election campaign that Luxon and the Nats didn't really want to get into. It was a bit icky for them. But I see a coalition agreement that has dealt with a lot of these issues absolutely head on. Were National reluctant to put them in the agreements, or did they want to use you guys as the stalking horse for the more challenging aspects of it?
Look, I shook hands with Chris Luxon and David Seymour on the basis that we're going to do our best going forward to make